This one's on you. Today we're going to talk about how to hold and set hard bargains with your attorneys. Your attorneys are giving you a goal, a project, something to take and lead. And so often I'm hearing from team members, well, they're not getting their work done. Well, they empowered me to make the decision on X, Y, and Z, and then they completely kicked me in the teeth on this one and negated everything that I said after doing the hard research and said, no, we're going to do it this way. If this kind of behavior is occurring in your law firm and you're rolling over or you're resenting or you're throwing your hands up and saying, why bother with your attorney, it's on you. It's on you that you're accepting this behavior. This week in Law Firm Admin Bootcamp, it came up. My attorney's not getting their work done. And or I came in today and thought my plan was going to look like X, Y, and Z. And my attorney had, an extra shot of espresso and came in at 6 a.m. and finally started dealing with the 3 files that have been sitting on their desk. And now they're buzzing me to come in because they have some gas in their tank about this. And I go in there and they just derailed my day. I'm like, no, they didn't derail your day. Number one, you broke the process. Attorneys should not have files sitting in their office. So you asked for it if you allowed these files to be sitting in their office. And we had a phenomenal conversation because the paralegal, the associate attorney, and the client service coordinator were on open coaching and growing hours this week. And they all had the same complaint. You all know it. You've seen it before. Your attorney gets a rush of adrenaline and they come in and now finally they're able to tackle X, Y, and Z that they've been putting off. But guess what? You're the beneficiary of those files and they come back to you or they're going to buzz you to come in and ask you 10 million questions about it because it's been 2, 4, 6 weeks or months since they handled the file. So you're not a victim to this behavior and they're not derailing your day. It's really anchoring you back to going to the process of, okay, how'd the files get on their desks in the first place? So why were they not on the case management report? Why weren't times scheduled in the attorney's calendar and mine to sit with them to touch this once? So this is actually a gift, and it's time to hold the hard bargains when your attorney's buzzing you and say, no, I'm working. These are my top 3 for the day. Another thing that we identified is they were no longer having the daily huddles to clarify and verify the top 3 for the day and getting clear on what the attorney has. So hold your attorney's feet to their dreams, sometimes in spite of themselves. If you're feeling resentful based on their behavior, go back and look at where you're abandoning your daily huddles, where you're abandoning your weekly case review meetings, where you're allowing files to sit in their office, where you're allowing for them to buzz you and interrupt you, and you're actually saying, yes, it's time to hold these hard bargains with your attorney, which a bargain is an agreement between the two of us, between 2 or more people. So we set these rules. And attorneys are constantly talking about system and process till the cows come home. I see them all over chasing information, chasing conferences and things of that nature when it comes to SOPs and process and production, what have you. So remind them of what the payoff is. Remind them what's at stake. Remind them where they're out of integrity if they're trying to violate this and what the cause and effect is. So employees, you're no longer a victim. If you're allowing this behavior and you're resentful for this behavior, get on my calendar. Or attorneys, if you're finding that your team members are allowing this behavior, get together, grab a cup of coffee, get on my calendar, and let's stop this immediately and come up with our new ground rules. Welcome to another episode of the Office Altering Hire and Empower with Molly McGrath podcast. If you're a returning listener, welcome back. If you're a first-time listener, hopefully you'll become a long-time listener. As always, I'm your show host, Molly McGrath, founder of Hiring and Empowering Solutions and creator of this revolutionary podcast. You can check us out at hiringandempowering.com. So Whether it's files, another situation that came up this week was around hiring. So we have a law firm that's in the law firm admin boot camp, and they're growing, control growth, and decide that they're going to hire a client service coordinator. So we go through the process in the law firm admin boot camp. We have our whole entire recruiting and hiring process in there. We follow it. And then the candidate comes into the office. Number one, they just show up. They do not have a scheduled interview at all. Then they show up, they cut the attorney off, they're completely high voltage. The team members were like, no, they are not a good fit for this firm at all. Well, the attorney decides, well, maybe I'm going to hire them for, well, maybe. And the team members are so completely frustrated because the attorney empowered them to place the ads, to do the 10-minute phone interview, to do the Zoom interview with the candidate, which, by the way, the candidate could not even figure out Zoom. So it was an enormous red flag in regards to technology and how they were handling it. Also, when they couldn't figure out the technology, their energy completely became so frustrated, so edgy, so incredibly like they couldn't handle the stress. All these things were just falling out during the interview process, which is fantastic. We're like, not a good fit, not a good fit. So the attorney decides, well, even though I've empowered you all, even though I've given you the task of being able to really make the informed decision about the next person, and now I'm saying, oh, well, I might hire them anyways, even though there is like a laundry list of red flags of why this is not the right candidate, because they're hiring out of desperation, because they're hiring out of pain, because they wanting to hire the person because they're nice and they're like, I can see that the clients would really like them. Well, guess what? If you're a team member, these are the hard bargains you go back and remind the attorney. This is going to be a colossal disaster if we hire them. You empowered us. We're the ones that are going to have to train the person. We're the ones that are going to have to deal with this person while you're in back-to-back conference, in the conference room, meeting with existing and prospective clients. So no. No is a complete sentence. We're putting our foot down and we're reminding you of what we want. We want process. We want reporting. Remember the last person, they couldn't figure out the technology. Remember the last person, we never got reporting out of them. Remember the last person, they were constantly overwhelmed and stressed out. We're already seeing proof of concept of this, how this one's going to go. So employees, do not back down. Remind your attorney, and you get to say no and say, I care too much about our clients. I care too much about our results and us making money and us being able to have persistent, consistent processes for what have you. And this person has demonstrated. So we're not allowing you to hire them. Not even go ahead and hire them, but you're going to train them. No. No is a complete sentence and you're not hiring them. We're going to trust the process. You're paying all this time and money for us to be in the law firm admin boot camp and academy. And no, we are not allowing for that to happen. So employees, where are you right now? Where are you feeling that your attorney is expecting for you and giving you permission to step up and lead? They want you to become an entrepreneur in an entrepreneur's world, and you take one step forward and 72 back. Where are you feeling like your attorney is being the biggest problem within the firm, and you need to go back and really hold your hard boundaries with your attorney? Make a list right now of where you're at right now. Where are the hard bargains that you all agreed on and you're allowing them to violate them? Maybe it's around hiring. Maybe they're not making the decision around hiring. We all agreed and we all identified that it's time that we need to, whether W-2, outsource, what have you, and they're dragging their feet on something. Maybe it's making decisions. Maybe it's we made a decision and they're trying to micromanage it, or they're trying to step in and white knuckle it. Maybe it's that we came up with this system and a process and they're violating it. I want for you team members to bury the hatchet on this mindset. It is what it is. Oh, it's just X, whatever, fill in the blank for your attorney's name. That's not the case. We're entrepreneurs. We're really, truly not wanting to be control freaks. We hire people because we want you to hold our feet to the fire. We want you to remind us of our dreams. And yes, we want you to become a professional nag and babysitter. This came up in Law Firm Admin Bootcamp this week too. Brand new client service coordinator, and her attorney has some really hard consequences attached to getting their CLE in for the end of the year. In addition to being, they want to be licensed in another state as well. So they have a lot of paperwork that they have to get done. So I've been empowering her and getting her to the place to take the lead for it. And they're almost at the finish line. And I said to her this week, here's the deal. I want you to put 1 hour on your attorney's calendar for them to complete their application and their paperwork that they need to do to submit this. You can't do it. You do need them for certain parts of it. Get sandwiches, get Cokes, get water, whatever it might be. Put him in the conference room and sit there and babysit him. Take his cell phone away from him and say, it'll take you about 30 minutes. We have 1 hour to complete this and it's done. And this will be the greatest win for your week. And she says to me, really? Like, I have to sit there and babysit him? I'm like, it's an absolute honor. Yes, this is you being a difference maker and a value creator to sit down with them and say, give me all your distractions. And here's the deal. You need to get this done. You keep hemming and hawing about it. You're dragging your feet on it. It's really depleting your energy, and it's making a difference for you because it's this bag of rocks that you're carrying around with you. So here's the deal. I'm sitting with you. Here's everything that you need. I'm going to sit here and babysit you. Yes, I'm going to babysit you to get this done because at the end, here's the payoff. Here's the payoff if you got this complete. And she's scrunching her face and looking at me. I'm like, you have to shift your mindset. This is the greatest value that you bring to a high voltage entrepreneur, to a high quick start, to an ideation, to a maximizer on the predictive index, all these assessments that they take, that we take, that you all take, and for you to speak into their listening in a way that makes a difference for them. They're not trying to avoid all the things that they need to do. They need accountability. They need someone to sit there with them and remind them of the cause and effect and the payoff when this is done and if we don't get this done and what's available for them. So yes, it's a gift that you get in regards to that. So anywhere that you are feeling the niggle, team members, or maybe you are as an attorney where you feel like there's so much crap on my desk or on my to-do list or in my head or on my phone or texting myself that I cannot get done and it's driving me crazy. Go recruit, go enroll, give the permission, find someone on your team. Tell them, give them permission to put time on your calendar and say, I need you. I need you right now. It's driving me absolutely bonkers that we can't get these things done. And we're putting time on the calendar, taking away all distractions, and we're getting a win. It should take us about 90 minutes, 3 hours, 2 hours, a full day, 2 days, whatever it might be, to clean these up and to close these open loops before the end of the year. As we launch the beginning of the year, whenever you're watching this podcast, it doesn't matter. It's such a fallacy about end of year goals and what have you. I had an attorney say to me today, I am going to interact like every single Monday as New Year's Day, as a brand new year. So I don't trick myself that I have this elusive amount of time and or get back myself against the wall that I have to complete it before year-end wrap or for the beginning of the year map. So hard bargains, that's what we're talking about today. You know where you need to go back and have that courageous conversation and to say, this is what we agreed to, and I'm holding our feet to the fire for this, sometimes in spite of ourselves. So, attorneys, If you are struggling with team members that will not take and believe and take the reins for this for you, give them to me and let me have a conversation with you all to really enroll them into what it means to hold you accountable every day, every hour, every week, every quarter, every year. Team members, if you are banging your head against a wall and your attorney is violating the deal, they're violating the time template, they're violating and not getting their work done, but constantly interrupting you when they get a burst of energy, come and get on my calendar and let's talk about a path and plan to burn the boats on this behavior and have a conversation about what we're committing to and what we're going to do when we need to have a conversation around hard bargains and violation. All right, until next time, continue being legal leaders, leading legal leaders. We've reached the end of yet another episode of the Hire and Empower with Molly McGrath podcast, where dream teams of entrepreneurs in an entrepreneur's world really do come true. Listen, whether you're a business owner, employee, executive, or hiring manager, we fully understand hiring, onboarding, and leadership is expensive, exhausting, often overwhelming, and absolutely time-consuming for the already taxed professional. Well, we have your back on all fronts. For 25 years and counting, we have transformed over 4,000 law firm teams into the most efficient, resourceful, and profitable asset of your business. Check out our Smart Hire solution, our employee leadership program, and the 66-day law firm turnaround at hiringandempowering.com.